first guest today is Yvette Rock, the founder and CEO of Live Cold Gallery, LLC, whose mission is to transform lives and neighborhoods through art, community development, and education. Yvette, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So let's begin by talking a little bit about your background. You were born in South America. Talk about your life's journey and how your journey from South America to the Detroit area helped to inform your founding of the Live Cold Gallery.
Sure. Well, it's been a long quest. I was born in Paramaribo, Suriname, South America, and we came to America when I was 7.5, 8 years old, and I really had a strong foundation in my early years. Actually, as an artist, I was interested in making art from a very young age. So all through my early years and up through college, I attended art school in New York City called Cooper Union. And then I attended graduate school at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And it was through my connection at U of M that I ended up coming to the city of Detroit in 1999. And from then, I worked in the different schools teaching art as an artist in residence with Inside Out Literary Arts Project. And then in 2000, fast forward to 2012, where I founded Live Cold Gallery. Just my heart was really for finding a way to connect young artists with emerging artists and established artists, and having that context where artists of all ages and stages of life can connect.
And I find when speaking to artists in many different forms of art and in media, that collaboration can be so important, especially to young artists and developing artists, in finding their style and finding their process, and even in creating excellent art that people will enjoy. And so for you, who are some of your early inspirations, either people that you worked with in art while you were in school or while you were learning or early on in your career, or other inspirations, just artists that you admired that helped you to form your style of art and your approach to the arts?
Yeah, so, in tandem with having this community arts business, I am a practicing artist. And like I said, I've been that for all my life, really. I like to give a lot of honor to my first art teacher, Miss McKinney, and that's a way for me to uplift elementary teachers and early, teachers, education teachers, that what they're doing is so important and can really have a lifelong impact on their students. So all of my art teachers, honestly, elementary, middle school, and high school, I went to art schools, Mr. Wybroba, I just, Bob, our teacher. So a lot of them is Teresa. As you can see, I'm in my mid-40s, and I remember my elementary, middle school, and high school art teachers because they had a profound impact on me as an individual. And so those teachers I honor first, and then certainly through college really was challenged. And I think that's another thing with young people that I like to encourage is to really challenge themselves and find those people who will challenge them in their art form and figure out ways to work with professional artists. So I myself have had an opportunity to work with a lot of local artists and professional artists. My friends here and my peers, they inspire and encourage me, like my friend Safel, who's a local artist, is always like, the art is not going to make itself. You have to show up in your studio to make your work. And so I try to stay faithful and just come to my studio and be present to the art process. And so that's my way of also encouraging young artists that, just be present in your studio and the work will come.
We're joined by Yvette Rock, the founder and CEO of Live Cold Gallery on the MegaCast. So let's talk a little bit about Live Cold Gallery. Now that we've got some background on your history with art, let's talk about the gallery itself. How did it begin, and what was always your vision for this particular gallery?
Yeah, so the gallery began actually in my home in Woodbridge, a multi-family dwelling, and we converted the first floor to an art gallery and art space that the community could come in. And my vision very early on was always to, as I mentioned, find a way to connect aspiring, emerging, and established artists. So imagine an artist, a young artist who's never had a show, never had an exhibition really, put together with an artist who's maybe been showing work for 40, 50 years and who has that following, who has that clientele. And what happens when you put those to artists in the same exhibition. Well, that's wonderful for the young artists, right? Because all of a sudden they have an audience for their work. And so part of my vision is like kind of being a bridge, helping others, helping young artists connect with established artists, and at the same time encouraging those established artists to be mentors and inspire young artists in this world of gallery exhibition and so forth, which sometimes can be very challenging to find your way into the art world. So serving as a bridge is very important to me. And then finding ways to connect with my community on all levels is very important to me.
And so, Yvette, your business, Live Coal Gallery, has 4 main initiatives, and those initiatives being Live Coal Arts Mobile, the Live Coal Collective, The Red, and Detroit Repatched. Let's begin with Live Coal Arts Mobile. Can you tell us about that and how that benefits artists in our local area?
Sure. So the Live Coal Arts Mobile is an 18-foot or so car hauler that I designed and converted with, of course, the help of the company who designed the trailer to turn that into a very interactive arts mobile. And we do workshops in it, we do exhibitions in it, and we have a creative play space in it, depending on what we're doing. And we take the arts mobile to different blocks or events around the city. That's the arts mobile.
And then, so the Live Coal Collective, also a critical part of these 4 initiatives of your business. Can you tell us about that as well?
Yeah, so the Live Coal Collective is an annually selected group of artists and creatives and makers that I work with to help fulfill our mission. So these can be writers, they can be photographers, filmmakers, obviously visual artists, ranging from sculptors to painters, printmakers. So just finding ways to gather creatives and makers to come alongside the work we're doing, and artists who are willing to share their work with the community.
And lastly, of course, we have the Red and Detroit Repatch. Can you tell us about those 2 initiatives as well? So those are also critical parts of these 4 initiatives of the Live Coal Gallery.
Yes, thank you. So the Red, I founded in 2018, and that is our children's art museum. So I have for many years been collecting artwork made by young people. And so the Red became an opportunity for me to showcase the artwork made by our young people. So work ranging from kindergartens, pre-K all the way through seniors in high school. And so the Red is a way for me to exhibit their work and also to have ongoing workshops and exhibitions featuring the work of our youth. And then Detroit Repatch, which is a 2021 Night Arts Challenge winning project, is the work that we are doing in Brightmoor, which is a neighborhood in Detroit. And that is a arts-infused green space and art hub.
And so with all these initiatives, of course, communication and opportunities, connection, is something that's so critical to these initiatives of yours, especially today, particularly in digital media, but really across all forms of art. Because of the different methods that we all have to communicate with each other and communicate not just locally in our communities, but broadly around the country, around the world, fragmentation can make for so many more opportunities, but also make those opportunities on a wider scale kind of sparse or scarce at least, because there's so much opportunity for so many different people that are all chasing these dreams. So how does that communication and that connection and that experience that you are providing for these younger artists in connection with artists that are more experienced, especially today, how is that having an impact on these artists present and future?
So basically, how are we communicating with our young artists?
Yeah, well, how are your initiatives positively benefiting these artists, and what have been some of the results of these relationships that you've helped foster?
Right, yeah. So, one example I'll give is we had a recent exhibition of a 10-year-old's work. Her name is Karis Gaston, a beautiful young lady. And she started coming to our workshops and our open studios on Fridays years ago when before the pandemic and when we were much more open to the public. But she started coming, and you just see her interest in the work And over the years, I realized like this young lady is serious about art. And so how do we go from somebody being serious about art to then bringing them to the next level and then connecting them with other artists and so forth? And how do we cross those boundaries? And so it's been beautiful to see her go from this interest phase to then this past year have her own solo exhibition where she had about 20 works of art at the Red and sold all her paintings but one. And at that event, we're professional artists, media, and so forth. And we were just so thankful to see like we can take one art, and that's just one artist, right? So what can we do if we, as an organization, really start to spread the word that Live Coal is here to represent young people and connect them to other artists. And, it's one of our weaknesses, to be honest. We really need to bolster our communication. We need to let others know. And so I'm so thankful for this opportunity to share who we are with the wider audience here.
We're joined by Yvette Rock, the founder and the CEO of the Live Coal Gallery, joining us on the MegaCast. And so you recently wrapped up a fundraiser called the Airdog Quilts exhibition. Can you tell us how that exhibition went, and then maybe some other events that may be coming up through your gallery in the future?
Sure. So Airdog Quilts is very exciting, and this is also a Night Arts Challenge winning project, and it was also supported by the Max Marjorie Fisher Foundation. And this project, we had 9 residents, 8 Detroit residents and 1 Highland Park resident, who shared their personal story with our team, our Airdog Quilts team. And these stories were then translated into quilts, which our 2 quilters, April Shipp and Patricia Millender, created these beautiful quilts. And we recently had the exhibition at the Red, which is located in Andy Arts. And we featured all these beautiful quilts. And prior to that, we featured the quilts at the homes of the interviewees. And so this is really one way we wanted to get people out there, navigate the streets of the city, and look at these art pieces. So the quilts were hanging at the homes of these interviewees and then featured in this gallery setting. So the Airdog Quilts project is coming to one closure because we just had the exhibition, and we're gearing up for the next phase, which is the printing and creating of a special book of the Airdog Quilts project, and then also a film documentary, which is being done by T-Bop Media. So we're very excited that hopefully in the spring, early summer, we will be debuting the documentary film and the book.
We're joined by Yvette Rock, the owner of Live Coal Gallery, the founder and the CEO of Live Coal Gallery, joining us on the MegaCast in just a few more minutes with you. So for those artists in the local area that may be interested in some of the relationships that you are able to help form, or may be interested in being part of Live Coal Gallery, and even for those that may be interested in being mentors for some of these young artists, how can they get connected with your organization?
Yes, thank you. You can visit our website, which is www.livecoalgallery.com. And our children's website is www.theredmuseum.org. And certainly you can email us at info@livecoalgallery.com.
Yvette, we thank you very much for joining us on today's show, telling us about Live Coal Gallery and some of the initiatives that go along with it.
Thank you so much for having us.